Welcome to the show, The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammer. Let's get on with the show with the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. So, making news this time around, another Order 66 fan film part 2 has just come onto YouTube. I'll be giving you a review later in the show. That's Order 66 part 2 to that particular fan film, and I'll give you a review later in the show. To more news, Rebel Scum Con is a convention that is happening in America this last weekend. It's a sort of a mini type Star Wars celebration in America, and that was happening over the weekend. Pretty much straightforward, nothing broke in sort of form of news. It's not really an official Star Wars event. It is an official convention, but it's not an official Star Wars event, only created by fans, more like pretty much run by the YouTube and or fan community. And that's what happened over the weekend. To more news, later this week, D23, the Disney convention, you could say. It's a convention of all the Disney brands, TV, movies, and one of them includes Lucasfilm, Star Wars. Having big news about that, but more about that in my views section coming up. And to the final part of the news this week, the 9th Jedi animation series is out now on Disney Plus. You can watch all episodes. I think there's all 8 episodes on Disney Plus right now. It's the 9th Jedi. It's an anime. It's animation, cartoon, more cartoon than sort of animation. That sort of modern sort of looking animation. It's out now on Disney Plus. Anyway, so let's get now into views. Views is my either viewpoint opinion or a view idea I have in Star Wars as a story. And so this time around, it's going to be my opinion of something that's happening in the next week. By Saturday here in Australia, by Friday there in America, if you're watching from America or maybe Australia, just to let you know. So D23, which is a Disney event, is going to be happening. It's going to be a massive showcase on TV shows up and coming and movies and all things Disney. And as I said, one of them includes Lucasfilm, Star Wars, and the one thing the hardcore fans are looking out for is the Starfighter reveals, as it's sort of been hinted that it may happen then. And as a prediction, we are roughly 9 months out of getting the actual movie, because it's coming out in May of 2027, but it's starring Ryan Gosling and it's going to be directed by Sean Levy, who has done some big works before, like Deadpool and Wolverine, and is a renowned director. So what needs to happen for a basic fan to be satisfied, like myself, for this D23 event? There needs to be a teaser trailer, and there needs to be sort of official discussion on the rough story idea, even if it's just characters and who they represent, and we can just speculate on that. It needs to really have a teaser trailer, like a really short teaser trailer. Nothing that is 2 minutes, more like maybe a minute. That would be satisfactory for me. Anything less than that and a bit of discussion on reveals would be underwhelming. Disney is popular in making things underwhelming this early, but this is what I would really love to happen. It's a really good window of opportunity to get the ball rolling with just a small bit of input, and I'm more than happy to wait for a trailer 3 months down from now. But a teaser trailer, which is about a minute worth, and some discussion on at least the character, sort of rough ideals of who they are in the series, like the good side, the bad side, stuff like that, would be satisfactory. That's what I'm expecting to happen at D23 later this week. That's my views for this time around. Let's now get into reviews. Reviews this time around is the Order 66 fan film part 2. Part 1 was already out. Part 2 is now out. Look, straight off the bat, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. It was sort of the same type of story arc as the first part. Obviously, in Order 66, there's just a lot of, mayhem happening and stuff like that. With the Jedi being hunted down by the Sith and stuff like that, and the Senate technically. Look, the dialogue, even though it was clear and understanding, it just didn't come off a bit naturally. It seemed to be a little bit sort of forced. The clarity was great to understand what was going on, but the naturalness of understanding what was going on, a natural sort of atmosphere was just not happening. But anyway, that's what. So it's, look, a 7 out of 10. It's still enjoyable. The YouTube channel that brings this stuff out is a really good, technically AI storytelling YouTube channel. But it's not just the AI, it's the great storytelling. Even in this story, it was still good, but it lacked a little bit of naturality, if that's a word. Anyway, but I look forward to more from those guys in the future. I think it's Star Wars Tales Untold. That's the YouTube channel. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so now let's get into reviews. Reviews, as I open it up, is my last particular video in questions that I may have got. And I've just got to sort of start by saying, just to let you know, my mic is still being worked on. That's why the sound is not, completely microphone friendly to the video, but it is being worked on as we speak. I'm wishing in the next week, maybe 2, more like week, it will be completely resolved. But anyway, just to let you know. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'm here 3 or 4 times a week with the Star Wars news, views, reviews, and interviews, as you may possibly know. Anyway, so let's get in. Michael from Werribee South, can you believe it, has written in, and Werribee South is a part of Melbourne, Australia. It's on the other side of the bridge. Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Werribee South, it's a suburb, just to let you know. Breaking the Skywalker cycle, many viewer discussions center on whether projects like the 9th Jedi and more Shadow Lord finally prove that franchise needs to be permanently cut ties with the familiar legacy characters to let the wider galaxy breathe. I will agree and disagree. I think the Skywalker story is so much detail and so much great psychology that it is a little bit hard to let go of it, because it just gives so much. But Star Wars does need to explore the rest of the galaxy. It just needs to find really promising story arcs like Skywalker's. It doesn't have to have the name Skywalker, but it really needs to just be really thought out well in a psychological stance. I think that's where Star Wars shines the best, psychological telling type stories. It's sort of as a tool for learning. It's also a tool for just great entertainment. But the Skywalker cycle is really part of Star Wars. I just would say that it almost needs to be somehow there, even if it's just mentioned. But also Star Wars does need to sort of widen itself into the galaxy, and we'll probably get that through Starfighter, the movie coming out in 2027. Anyway, that's the answer to that question. The next question was from Michael from Werribee South. Excuse me. Give us an update, please, about the Star Wars Celebration Greed Pop development. Have you got follow-up emails as yet? It's funny he said Greed Pop, because they really are not the best organization in organizing events, in my opinion. But the most up-to-date news I've got is I have given emails. The last email I gave them was about a week ago, in where they responded and said, look, we can't promise you tickets, but you are on a wait list. You've just got to wait patiently. I said to them, surely by now a professional organization like yourself could have had this solved but at the moment nothing has been solved. I'm going to stay on the case. If you want to stay on the case with this ticketing fiasco for this event, Star Wars Celebration in LA 2027, if you were just, done the wrong way, please, Star Wars Celebration at reedpop.com. That's Star Wars Celebration at reedpop, that's spelled REEDPOP.com. Send in your discuss or what you would like to happen to that organization about Star Wars Celebration in LA 2027. I'm going to still be on it. Probably in about a couple of weeks, I will give them a follow-up email again to see what's happening. But my actual whereabouts in celebrating the Star Wars Celebration of 50th anniversary of next year in April, I'm unsure exactly what I'm going to do. I've got some ideas that may fruition, but I'm just going to keep them under wraps for now. But I plan to really want to go to Star Wars Celebration 2027 in LA. That is my pursuit. That's why I'm pursuing Reed Pop. As Michael put here, Greed Pop. Anyway, so the next and the final question this week on the show is, last episode you mentioned that you're not enjoying Ninth Jedi not canon. Why do you watch fan films then as it's not canon either? Do you think your viewers are hypocritical? My viewers, I'm unsure what they think. We'd have to ask every single viewer in what they think. That's the way to understand the context of someone. But I wasn't enjoying The Ninth Island that much because to me it was really hard to gravitate to the psychological aspect to the story. It had chunks of stories of previous Star Wars things, but because it was cartoon and the way that it was the rhythm of the story, it was really hard to sort of gravitate to the psychological feeling. And that to me is the secret ingredient in these fan films that are AI on YouTube. Both are not canon, but I'm enjoying watching the stuff on YouTube more than the Ninth Jedi. I'm not really into stuff that is not canon. I'd rather see stuff that's officially canon, because to me that's official. That's where the story really, starts, goes, and ends. But the Ninth Jedi is not canon. It's just more that the way that story is being told is just, sort of spurts of story without a real concentration in the emotional aspect of it. I thought, it does have emotion, but it's just a bit hard to connect to. But these AI films that are on YouTube, even the ones that are sort of pretty average, there is a really good, usually slow-paced, but very good way connecting to the psychological aspect of Star Wars. And that to me is one of the highest ingredients in Star Wars storytelling. Anyway, that is the show for this time around. So again, subscribe to the channel. The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week. Like and share this video if you like, if you want. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.